everybody, welcome. I hope you are all doing great today. Thank you for joining. I'm really excited to be here with you today to discuss how to ace an international job interview, focusing mainly on English. I know many of you. Oh, am I muted? In my computer, it looks like. Oh, okay, there you go. Okay. Whew, I panicked there for a little, guys. I saw the mute comment. Okay, so as I was saying, I know many of you might be joining today because you might be worried or feeling insecure about your English skills when applying for international jobs. So our goal today is to clear up some misconceptions about English requirements and help you showcase your best self during an international interview. So, welcome everyone today. I hope you have a good time. And before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Mercedes, but everybody calls me Mechi. I am from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I've been a part of BairesDev for 6 years now, 6.5 to be precise. I'm currently working as talent growth marketing manager, and my focus is on project management, diversity, and community building. But I've been in many areas within talent acquisition. I am constantly interviewing people to join our amazing company. So I want to give you some insights of what I've learned in this past years. Here at BairesDev, we are a global community with people from over 50 countries, and we love bringing diverse people together. I know that we have attendees from all over the globe watching probably here today. So please drop a comment and let us know which city, which country you're from. I always love knowing where people are watching us from. So I know we have a little bit of a delay from what I read in my chat and when you guys start posting. So I'm gonna keep moving forward, but I will be reading those comments as they appear. So before we begin, let me give you a little bit of a summary of what we're going to be talking about today. So we kick off today's webinar by briefly discussing why interviews are so crucial for international companies. Next, we'll dive into one of the biggest concerns when it comes to international interviews, which is the English level. Have you ever passed up a great opportunity, maybe because you thought your English skills weren't enough? Maybe by the end of the session, hopefully you'll have a clearer understanding of this issue. Oh, I already see some countries popping up, so I'm gonna pause here for a second and see. Hi, it's from people from Brasilia, Blumenau. That's a city I've never heard in Brazil. Sao Paulo, Mexico, Quito, Lima in Peru. Amazing. We have someone from Ohio in the US, land of the corn. I love that. Brazil, a lot of people from Brazil, which is amazing. Medellin in Colombia. More people from Peru. So I love to see all my Latin American people here with us today. So I really hope this webinar boosts your confidence so you can ace those interviews. So as I was saying, I hope that by the end of our session, you have a clearer understanding on what we are expecting when we are interviewing in English. After covering that, we're going to share some tips and tricks that could be useful for your next English interviews. Honestly, there's no big secret. These are just some insider tips from an international company that hires talented people from all over the world. And we want this to be a very interactive experience, so don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions if you have any and share your own experiences in the chat box. But I've already set aside some time at the end for a quick Q&A session, so if you have a special question that you want to answer, you can save it for that time. I'll do my best to answer as many as possible within the time that we have. But first, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, let me give you a quick overview of who we are here at BairesDev. We are experts in delivering software solutions with top-notch technologies and methodologies. Let me change the view. There we go. So I felt like I was covering the screen of the presentation. So we are experts in delivering software solutions using top-notch technologies and methodologies, right? Some of our projects involve automation, artificial intelligence, algorithm, virtual reality, machine learning, and all those latest technologies you've read or heard about. And we work with global clients like Google, Pinterest, Rolls-Royce, and many exciting startups, which are companies that face big challenges and are redefining their markets and industries. That's why high quality delivers are our hallmark, right? And since we are a remote first company, we have the unique ability to bring together high performing tech professionals from all over the world, breaking down geographical barriers and creating truly diverse teams, right? That is why language is a big part of what we do and how we do it. We believe that talent does not discriminate, and we currently have the best tech talent working from over 600 different cities in more than 40 countries. And it's always been language something that's been super powerful in helping us bring all these amazing people together no matter where they were, right? I'm sure if we're going to talk about specifically about the interviews and why we do it in English, I'm sure some of you have wondered, are all these interviews really necessary? Do they have to be in English, right? For you to get to know us. And the truth is that the hiring process has evolved a lot in recent years, with AI tools now helping recruiters find the perfect candidates for each role. But even with all these changes, interviews remain a core part of the recruitment process, just as they have always been, right? So when a company opens up a new role, it's because they've identified a need for a specific skill and abilities, not because they're looking for a specific person, but a set of skills that abilities alone don't make a great candidate, right? Since we work in teams, social and interpersonal skills are just as important. Along with your background, this is especially crucial for international companies that operate remotely and hire people from all over the world, right? So also keep in mind that every company is unique and has its own core values and promoted behaviors. So meeting requirements is important, but remember that in the end, we're hiring first people, not robots, right? So recruiters will look at how well you fit within the company's culture and values, not just whether you meet the technical requirements or not. And modern tools now help recruiters discover talent they might have missed in the past. The traditional resume, the CV, cover letters are now um, joined by LinkedIn profiles, AI tools that help sift through thousands of resumes to find the best fit. But however, the human touch is still essential, right? And there's nothing more human than a good conversation. We need to have those in order to really get to know each other and really see if the person is a good fit. Interviews remain a crucial part of the hiring process, and they're key to confirming information and getting to know candidates on a deeper and more personal level. A person isn't just defined by what they can do at work, which is important also to assess a lot of things, but it's crucial to assess their behaviors and their soft skills that only a face to face interview can reveal. Okay. Now that you have a better grasp of the role that interviews play in that recruitment process, let's dive into the topic of English skills. We'll explore why communication is so important in international companies and teams specifically, and how to determine if you're ready to thrive in that kind of environment. Okay, so let's get started with a brief summary of that. So, for companies that work remotely, like BairesDev, communication is a major thing. It's our main focus. Just imagine the challenge of managing teams from different nationalities and backgrounds, coordinating all efforts to deliver exactly what's needed while avoiding mistakes and rework, right? That's not an easy work. There are plenty of tools and processes to help us with this, but good, clear communication remains the most important factor. Of course, all this communication has to have a common language. And in most international companies, that language is English. Now, maybe this introduction has made you a little bit more nervous than when we started, but that's not my intention, I promise. And there's really no need to worry. And let me explain why. While English is important, it doesn't mean that only native English speakers can thrive in international environments, right? Or only people with bilingual level of English can thrive. In fact, at BairesDev, most of our employees As me, we don't have English as our first language, right? Many people, when looking for job opportunities, tend to underestimate their English skills. I gotta say that. And they hesitate to apply for positions that require advanced English. And that, if you ask me, it's a big mistake. Let's talk a little bit about how English proficiency is viewed during the recruitment. Oof, sorry, recruitment processes. I got tongue tied there. As you can see, we all make mistakes. I'm hosting a live webinar. These things do happen. We're not always speaking perfectly, right? So first, not every role requires fluency in English. While it's crucial for some positions, right, especially those involving daily interactions with native English speakers, many roles only require you to understand others and express yourself clearly. It doesn't have to have that like fast-paced fluency that we all believe we should have. Another common concern for non-native speakers is their accent. And depending on your first language, some words and sounds might sound stronger to the ear, but this shouldn't discourage you from speaking English at work. The most important thing is getting the message through. It takes time and practice to improve your accent, but you don't need to wait that long to start your international career. A question that many candidates have is, what if I don't understand what a coworker says, right? If I'm working with someone with a, I don't know, higher English level. And here at BairesDev, for instance, we are very comfortable in our international work environment, and it's never an issue to ask a coworker to repeat themselves. Like it's not a big deal, right? Cultural differences can influence how we speak or how we understand certain words, and that's perfectly normal. So don't be afraid to ask. That's my main advice is just jump in, have faith in your English skills, try to communicate as best as you can. Now that you have a better understanding of how English can impact your performance in recruitment processes, let's dive into some important tips. First and foremost, during interviews, be yourself. I know this might sound simple, but it is absolutely true. If you're too worried about your English level and the words that you're using and how you're going to say things, you might forget the most important thing that a recruiter wants to get to know in an interview, which is you. The hiring process is all about understanding your skills, your abilities, your strengths. So focus on showcasing these aspects. Use your English skill as a tool to highlight your best qualities, but don't let the tool become a barrier. If you get stuck with a word, try paraphrasing. Take some seconds to think of the word that you want to say. Try to think of if it's not coming to your head, because sometimes it happens. It happens when we are speaking in our native languages as well, that we want to say something and we forget the word, so we try to say it in a different way. And all recruiters will understand that it's not your main language. You will be given the time, and based on your skills, we will find the best role that suits your English level. And here are some tips to help you shine during that English interview and make a great impression. The first of all, do some research. Many industries have their own jargon. You know, those terms that might not make much sense outside that specific context, but might come up in an interview. So getting familiar with this vocabulary will boost your confidence and help you align your skills and experiences with the role's requirement. The second sounds obvious, and I know it's practice, practice, practice. It's normal to feel anxious before an interview, especially if you're unsure of what will be asked. So, to ease this anxiety, try to anticipate some common questions, prepare a few answers in advance. Practicing these answers will help you feel more confident and at ease. Try to practice introducing yourself, talking about your life, maybe in front of a mirror if it makes you feel comfortable. It sounds dumb, but talking by yourself as if you were rehearsing for a play helps a lot with trying to sound more natural and just flow with those English skills. And the last one is to listen actively. Sometimes it happens that people are so focused on what they are going to say next that they forget to listen carefully to what's being asked, right? So show that you are a great team player by actively listening to your interviewer and making sure that your responses are exactly what they're looking for. If you have doubts, if you don't fully understand the question, don't be afraid to just ask them to repeat it or to even explain it if you feel like you're still missing the goal of that question. And if you're specifically preparing to apply to an opportunity at BairesDev, which would be amazing because we're always looking for more people to join our team, I wanted to add a few extra tips to help you navigate our application process smoothly and enhance your chances of success. So the first one is to record the video in English. If some of you are already on a process with us, you probably noticed that we ask you to record a video introducing yourself and telling you a little bit more about your life. It is a possibility to record it in your native language, but as an insider tip, English is always best. So when you're recording your video, speak clearly and confidently in English. This helps us assess your communication skills, crucial for remote collaboration. Different positions require varying levels of English proficiency, but an intermediate professional level is typically sufficient for most openings. If you can communicate and understand English satisfactorily, give it a try. Then complete as many tests as you can. Tests are a tool for candidates to demonstrate and show their abilities and technical knowledge. Start with our key profile boosters. Those are available on our applicant side. They will help us understand your personality, your work style, your problem solving capabilities. They're all about soft skills, right? And depending on your skills and background, specific tests may appear in our test lab section. Those are focused on hard skills and they have to do with the position you're applying for. But the key profile boosters let us know who you are as a person, and that is, for us is super important. All these results contribute to giving us a comprehensive view of your abilities. Then keep your profile up to date. If you have ever heard about our hiring process, it is an always on hiring process. This means that once you apply, we are going to consider you for all new openings that we have. This means that if you keep your profile regularly updated with any new skills, certifications, or experiences, this will ensure that we have the most accurate and updated information to view your qualifications and match you with our openings. And the last one, which also sounds a little bit obvious, but trust me, we've seen this happen, always check your inbox. Email is our main communication channel with our candidates. So sometimes when people apply to openings in a lot of different places, they get spammed with a lot of emails and things might get lost in the inbox. So stay proactive throughout the process by checking your inbox regularly. This ensures that you don't miss any important updates or communications from us. And keeping that application on track is important. So these tips will help you navigate our application process effectively and maximize your chances of securing a position at BairesDev. So that's a little bit of a wrap. We don't have a lot of time. We are already 10 minutes to the clock, but I want to give some time to the Q&A because I'm sure there will be a lot of questions. So let's dive into that Q&A. Feel free to ask us any questions in the comment sections of our YouTube or LinkedIn stream. While we're waiting for your questions, because I have a little bit of a delay, I want to remind you that we have provided a link in the event description, and you can also access it through the QR code on your screen. I'm going to increase this a little bit so you can have an easier time just looking this with your phone if you are on a computer. So in this link, you will find our social media pages, our jobs portal, where you can explore all the available openings that we have, and the applicant side. In there, you can update your profile, take the online exams, check your application status, This applicant side also features our live chat support, which is an amazing tool. So if you have any questions about your application, specifically about your process, you can reach out to us there and have all your questions answered. You can also visit our website, explore our referrals program page, and last but not least, find our webinar survey. That survey is super important to us because your feedback really means a lot. It takes less than 5 minutes to complete it, and it helps us improve future editions of this webinar. So now let's move to the Q&A. Okay, so let me see. We have a question from Mateo saying, hey, Mitzi, do you think a C1 English proficiency in the EFSET scale is sufficient for any job at BairesDev? Well, it really depends a lot because I'm not super familiar with the different international leveling. It varies and they evaluate a lot of different things. And we are only going to be evaluating communication skills at BairesDev. We're not going to test your writing skills. We are just want to see if you are able to keep up with a conversation, right? In an overall way, any upper English level is good enough. Upper plus, advanced, bilingual, of course. And for some positions, maybe an intermediate plus is also enough. What does this mean in human words, in human terms? That you're able to keep up with a conversation. You can have some grammar mistakes, you can have an accent, but as long as you get your message through without needing to pause a lot, when you are still learning English, maybe it happens that you have to like pause and think and you're not coming up with a word, you're still trying to translate in your head from your native language to English, and this causes the grammar to become a little bit twisted. If you are able to really convey the message, that's all that matters. Let's see a little bit more questions. We have someone in YouTube asking, I have already applied to you. Please, I want to work on a place where I can achieve and also contribute to BairesDev. If you have applied, as I said, fill out all the information on our applicant side. Don't be afraid to record that video in English, and then you will be added to a pipeline. We'll start matching you with our current openings and hopefully find the best match for you. Let's see. I have another question from LinkedIn saying, is the pre-assessment test a requirement? I'm assuming you're talking about the online exams that we have, the key profile boosters and other types of multiple choice tests that we have. For some positions, and I would say for most positions, the key profile boosters are mandatory in a way because we have over 2 million applications per year. Okay, so they're not really mandatory, but they will give visibility to your profile amongst all those people that are constantly applying to work with us, right? So the more you complete your profile on our applicant side, the more tests you have done, the more visibility you will get in order to shine among the pool of applicants and be chosen to move forward with one of our openings. So it's not like an actual requirement, because if I don't know, you are, sometimes happens that developers have skills with a very new and in high demand technology. Maybe they will shine just because of their skills. But my advice, the more you can do, the better. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions. I see a lot of comments, but I'm not finding a lot of questions. So either I was very clear, or the chat is taking some time to update. Okay, I have a question about not necessarily English, but about the process that says, what about being able to do math out of the head? Is BairesDev against the use of tools to be more accurate? I don't know specifically what you're talking about. Most of our exams and the tests that we do not require the use of a calculator, um, because we don't necessarily are asking for accurate answers. It's more about estimations. But there might be some like small math things that we might ask, but it shouldn't be a problem. It should be like very simple math, like high school level math. Because I don't think it's gonna be a problem for anything more complicated than that, or for even technical interviews. There is a possibility of using a lot of different tools. Um, let's see. I still see a lot of people that I love this that might be just joining the stream, saying where they're from. Okay, I have a question here. Are your tests disability friendly? ADHD and autistic people can struggle sometimes, not only with interviews, but tests like that as well. So sometimes they aren't great at these specific types of interview processes. This is a great question. So the tests that we have on our applicant side, they're the same for everyone. And that is true. It's not always easy, but I have, at least in my case, I can say that I do. I am I have neurodiversity, I have ADHD, and I had no issues with those tests. They are not super hard. They are multiple choice, so you just need to have the time to sit and work with them. They have a good amount of time for you to finish them. But as always, if anyone find those tests to be complicated, they can reach out to our support team and we can find other ways to solve it. But by default, the applicant side offers the same set of tests to everybody. Let's see. I have to see a question saying, I completed most of the tests, but there are no offers. Is there a problem? I've been on the platform for months. So, as I said, this is an always on process. Sometimes when we finish all of our tests, maybe at the moment we don't have any opening that matches our skill set, right? We're not always looking for people for all our departments. So what I recommend to you is to be patient. And as I said before, once in a while, as soon as there's any news, you can update your profile on the applicant side. And if you are feeling that maybe there was an issue and there is an opening that actually matches your skill set, you can reach out to the live chat. They will review your specific case personally. Our live chat is not a chat bot. Those are actual employees behind the chat. They will review your case, they will answer any questions that you might have, and that is the best place to clear out any doubts or any specific needs regarding our hiring process. So I have a question here from Jessica saying, is it possible to use artificial intelligence tools for communication while improving my level of English? For written communication, 100%. We are all into AI. I use it. I use ChatGPT for a lot of the things that I have to do at work. My English is good enough, but it also saves up a lot of time. The only requirement that we ask is that speak and like communication is good because we do a lot of online meetings and using AI for that sometimes gets complicated. So we really need that spoken English to be at least, as I said, an upper to be able to communicate with our colleagues and for some positions with our applicants. But besides that, for every other type of communication, we really encourage our employees to be up to date with the latest technologies, and we are fans of AI in everything that's possible. Um, okay, so I'm not seeing any more questions, and we are almost on the time. Oh, I see. One last question that I just saw, and I'm gonna answer that one. Should I need to finish all tests or main skill tests to get the next interview? And this is a good question. Yes. I mean, as I said before, is it 100% necessary? No. Is it 100% recommended? Yes, because that will give you visibility. The most like the profiles that we have that match the openings the best will be called for interview first. right? So the more tests you finish, the more visible your profile will be, the more chances you will be having of getting called for a second interview. Um, so I know they might look scary, but I promise you they are not that not that tough. And there is no passing or failing those tests because those are soft skill tests. And there are no good or bad soft skills. They're just more aligned soft skills with one role or the other. So that's it for today. We are on time. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming to this webinar. I hope my tips helped you. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate of reaching out to our live chat on our applicant side. Look for that feature. If you want to check all our available openings, don't hesitate to check the job portals. And last but not least, once again, fill out our webinar survey. It really helps us make this better every day. You can find all this information on the QRI show before, and I'm going to also share the link on our chat here so you can have all the information needed. Thank you again for coming. I hope you have an amazing day and see you next month.